The color balance tool in Capture One can be used for a couple of different applications, either for correcting color casts in an image or perhaps for applying a creative color grade. In this example, we're going to use the color balance tool to correct for some of the color casts in the image. Now, to help you use it, you might find it useful to drag it out of the tool tab space and enlarge it like so. This just makes it easier for finer control. So very briefly, this tool is split up into a master tab, a three-way tab, which show the shadows, midtones and highlights, and then individual tabs for each of those if you need even finer control. The premise is very simple. For example, in the master tab, wherever you drag the center point, we'll simply apply that cast to the image. The further you go towards the edge of the circle, the stronger the saturation will be for that cast. Double tap and it will reset back to 0. The principle is the same for the three-way section, the shadows, midtones and highlights, but it only affects, for example, the shadows or the midtones or the highlights in the same way. So for example, in this image we can see that the shadows are a little on the cool side, so if we simply grab the center point and take that to the opposite color, then we can correct that very nicely. The same goes for the midtones if we just want to warm them up a little bit to a lesser degree. And then for the highlights, if they're looking a bit too warm now, we can counteract that and drag that back to the cooler side. To preview your color grade, and like any other tool in Capture One, hold the Option key down, or the Alt key as you might know it, and click on the Reset button so we can see before the correction and after the correction. Equally, if you want to make changes to luminosity on each of the shadows, midtones and highlights, then drag the slider to the right hand side to either darken or lift the particular tone. In this example, we're going to use the color balance tool for a creative color grade. So this is less about correction and more about look and feel. To give us the maximum flexibility, we're going to put this color grade on a layer. So in the layers tool, let's create a new filled layer. We'll call this color grade and apply our grading just on that layer. And then using the opacity slider, we can vary the strength later if we want to. So in this case, I'll apply quick color grade just by using the color balance tool in the same way as before. So perhaps having some cooler shadows and warmer midtones, darkening the shadows a little bit more, and then lifting the highlights slightly as well. Now the good thing is, because we placed our color grading on a layer, we can now look at the image with the color grading turned off and back on again, and also vary the opacity to get exactly the look that we want. If you've done a color grade that you particularly like, then don't forget you can always save that as a preset so you can recall it on any other image.